Hello strangers, friends and family on the internet. I should probably start by saying I don't have any artistic training as such. I did GCSE art in high school, but after that I decided that the world didn't have room for another artist, so I gave it up. I went to college and studied law and psychology, but that proved to be far more pointless in the long run and much less enjoyable. I did, however, carry on drawing and crafting in my own time because that's what I love. And that's what makes me happy, which is probably the same reason you're here watching this video. But yeah, I'm not a professional artist, I'm all self-taught. And the advice I give to you is just what I have learned from my own experiences. I think I like drawing mandalas because it doesn't really matter what you do, it's never really wrong. Every single one is a little bit unique, and I find I always like the hand-drawn ones the best. That's probably just because they're a little bit flawed rather than symmetrical and perfect, and that's just what's really great about them. I think the trick to making them look good though is to always have a couple of round objects at hand to draw around. I just take whatever is lying around and use them to draw a few circles. In this case I'm using a ribbon stool, a Yankee candle lid and a stand that holds my graphics tablet pen, and that's just my starting point. I never really know what I'm going to add because I think that just spoils the fun. I always turn the paper around as I work because the perspective of your drawing remains the same that way, so I think you're more likely to draw each shape more or less symmetrical to the last, which just keeps it looking consistent and neat. Otherwise I find it ends up looking a little top or bottom heavy. The more details you add to it, the more unique it will be, but you'll find your own idea of what is just too overcrowded and what's just enough with experience. Although even overcrowded mandalas look pretty if they're drawn well, I personally just prefer the more simple designs. Finding the right pen to ink your mandala is just down to personal preference and how that pen feels in your hand this day. I usually go through about 2 or 3 before I find the one that has the juicy thickness that I like my lining to have. It's just trial and error to get the pen that is thick enough to have a boldness but also not so splodgy that you lose all your detail. In this picture I used a Molin Liquidly pen. I did try to check to see if I could find a link to buy them anywhere on the internet, but apparently they just don't make them anymore, which is sad. Oh well. Also, a good rule of thumb is to start from the middle and work your way out to avoid smudging, but advice is easier to give than to take, and I'm a rebel, so I've decided to work outwards for this piece. Depending on if you're going to colour your mandala or how you're going to colour it depends on what kind of medium to use for lining your work. I'm fond of watercolours, so if I was going to colour this mandala, I would have used black Indian ink to do my lining. Mostly because it's made of magic and once it's dry it just doesn't smudge or run when you paint over it. This piece though is just staying in my sketchbook, but what I would do if I wanted to add colour is use a light box underneath the work and trace it through onto a new sheet of paper that suits the medium I chose. I always like to do that rather than colour straight into my sketchbook because then I have 2 copies, and if I make a mistake, which I often do, then I can just start again. Probably the best advice I can give to you when making your mandala, and especially when lining it, is to just be confident with your stroke. The whole design process for me is an exercise in confidence. A well-placed line done really badly will look shaky and can really ruin the effect. Just let your hand do the work and trust yourself. No one is going to notice if one of your petals is slightly bigger than the others, especially if the line work is done with confidence, because it'll just look clean at the end. You'd be amazed how much you can hide with just good line work. As always, if you liked this video, please feel free to subscribe, or even just give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you again soon.